I'm assuming this will be the last time I ever talk about this film. I guess unless I did a paid request to do a commentary or some conversation with another one person, group chat, whatever. But this is a paid request for Movie Guide 2005. Thank you for your generosity and your patience. If anyone wants to request any type of video, review, re-review, tier list, ranking, commentary, video game playthrough, whatever the case, PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below. I will get it out to you as soon as I possibly can. And I don't know why I have my glasses off. I guess just because I felt like it. That's really it. Just for dramatic effect. I don't know. To try to do my own one-person show, just like Whoopi Goldberg's trying to do her one-person show in this film called The Telephone. Now, from time to time, this is a film I have mentioned when I was with Dead Pitt and we were doing me, Uncle Bill, and Stuntman Mark, our 5 worst 80s films. I put this on the list. Because to me, this barely fits as a film. You barely categorize it as a film. It is a bad stand-up act, but then it's an experimental art film. Whoopi Goldberg's trying to show her comedy, but then her dramatic acting, and neither one works because the drama parts fall flat because they probably wrote stuff in the script that better showcase the character, but most of the film is just her ad-libbing. If you look up info on the film, apparently the director Rip Torn, yes, Rip Torn, who was Zed and Men in Black films, actor in other movies, Dodgeball, I think he was in. One of the only things he directed, and from what I understand, years later he would say she didn't want to listen to a word I say, she wouldn't let me direct. The thing got edited, and apparently more of the edit was her ad-libs and less of what was in the script. And the ad-libs weren't funny. I know I'm going over the place, so bear with me. So this came out in 1988 from New World Pictures. It was a bomb. Whoopi Goldberg, from what I read up, she wanted to stop the film from being released, and she failed in that venture. Kind of like how she wanted that film Theodore Rex to stop being released. And you know what? That's a horrible film. I would rather watch Theodore Rex than this movie, because stuff actually happens in that film. May not be a lot of good stuff, but stuff actually happens in that film. And this was a film that seemed like it could be a play, and I'm sure it's meant to showcase a person who has psychological problems, obviously, and going in this downhill slope in her brain where this character just dwindles down more and more until this event happens at the end and crosses a line that she can't come back from. And it's supposed to be this impactful ending, and it's supposed to be this powerful moment, and it all fails. This movie fucking sucks. It's just the foot that's been up someone's ass. And that's why its mouth smells like shit. Whoopi Goldberg, listen, I liked her back in the day. I loved Jumpin' Jack Flash. I liked the film Ghost. I liked the first Sister Act movie. The second one, I honestly don't remember much about it. Eddie, I just reviewed. It's there. I don't love it. It's kind of a time waster, but it's forgettable. I would rather watch that than this. Is the worst film she's been in. Whoopi Goldberg nowadays, that's a whole other thing with The View, and she was in that Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtles film and other. I don't want to get into that. The Whoopi of nowadays, I'm not a fan of. The Whoopi back then, I liked. Burglar, it was there, but I'd rather watch that than this. Fatal Beauty, directed by Tom Holland, who did Child's Play and Fright Night, the originals. Thought it was different. It was kind of her take on Beverly Hills Cop. Not as good as Beverly Hills Cop, but I liked Fatal Beauty. Her, Sam Elliott, Brad Dourif. I had fun with that movie. So this is her heyday. And yeah, she did dramatic work like The Color Purple. She thought maybe this would be a blend of the two, and I wouldn't be surprised in the back of her head she thought this is going to give me some awards. No, I mean, maybe a Razzie. I don't think she did, but she could have. I don't know. Maybe she did, and I didn't see it. I didn't see the information, but I know I'm 6 minutes in. I haven't talked a whole lot about the plot because there is no plot to the movie. There is no story to the film. All of the movie takes place. First 5 minutes is her walking home, talking to a neighbor, going to her apartment, and then the entire rest of the movie is in her apartment. She has an owl. She has a goldfish. And she just does stit after stit after stit. A lot of times with the phone and doing various amount of accents. Once in a while someone appears. Elliott Gould, who's been in a lot of stuff back in the day. The MASH, the movie from back in the day. He appears with this blonde bombshell. His new client, he used to be the agent that had Whoopi Goldberg as a client. Her character. He stopped by to say hi, use the phone. She's like, no, you can't use the phone. Gets him to leave. And then at the end of the film, John Hurd, may he rest in peace, who was the dad in Home Alone. He was in the film Chud with Daniel Stern. He was the photographer. I like John Hurd. He tries. He's only in the film for a couple minutes as this telephone guy that's supposed to get the phone back from... I say repairman, but he's a telephone guy. Supposed to get the phone back from Whoopi. And then at the end of the day, it's bad skit after bad skit. It does sound like mostly improv. So I believe the stories I hear that she didn't do much of the script. Or if she did, none of it was in it, or most of it wasn't in it. It was mostly just her ad-libbing a storm. You know, it's funny, I read up somewhere that apparently the people who wrote the film, or the producer, they wanted Robin Williams. I can see why, because at times she is trying to be like Robin Williams. Which I know is ironic because her, Robin, and Billy Crystal, those three were behind those comic relief comedians helping the homeless and stuff. Which I did appreciate charity. I did appreciate that. But Whoopi Goldberg, as much as I liked her back in the day, she was no Robin Williams. She wasn't. And you could tell that there were times like she's trying to do multiple characters at the same time. Much like if you watch Robin Williams, for example, inside the actor studio. Or a number of other interviews. Well, he'll just go off of this and do this character, this voice, and this voice. Robin had that down pat. He could do that. Could he have made this film work? I don't know. I would hope it would have been funnier. But I mean, you could just watch a random, well, not random, but one of his stand-up acts back to the day, or what he was doing the couple in the 2000s of Robin Williams. Watch one of those. You get actual themes. You get comedy. but a little bit of stuff in there as well. Once in a while, a little bit of deeper meaning. And that's the thing. Like, you just watch a Richard Pryor stand-up. Live in concert. Live on the Sunset Strip. Here and Now. Eddie Murphy Raw. Eddie Murphy Delirious. Just watch a number of stand-up and you get funnier bits that has as much meaning and story. In fact, I would say more so. The one bit with Richard Pryor with the matchstick. Says, you all love me so much, what's this? Richard Pryor running down the street. This was after the freebasing, some say accident, some say he tried to end his life, whichever story you looked into. Whichever one is, I don't know which one is true, to be honest. Because I keep hearing different things. That he got set on fire. Like, him doing that was funnier. And in a way more meaningful than anything in this fucking film. To just go through what happens in this, it barely clarifies as a movie. I can imagine if you were a fan of Jumpin' Jack Flash or some other movie she was in, maybe Birdland had been out at this point, you going into this, oh, it's a Whoopi Goldberg film, and you're sitting there in the theater. The fact this is the theater was just insanity to me. Her putting water in a tub and putting her goldfish in, and her just doing ya da da, 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 feet in the tub. Ooh. Don't suck on my toe fish. Yes, don't suck on my toe fish. I mean, what the fuck? Okay, really? And she almost puts the goldfish down the drain, and she takes a plunger and gets the fish back up. She's watching a film called Christmas in July, which is a black and white older movie. And what's funny, I don't know if I caught this the first time I saw this, but watching it, music starts playing during the movie, within the movie. And I'm sitting there going, this music sounds so familiar. And my eyes went like this. And I'm like, oh shit. It starts playing the theme from Hellraiser. Do, 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 boo, do, do, do. I'm like, why the fuck is this old black and white movie having the music from Hellraiser in it? And, of course, what company released Hellraiser back in 1987, the year before this? New World Pictures. What released this film? New World Pictures. Same company. So I guess, hey, we're allowed to use that music because it's part of our company. So we'll use it here. I think she keeps saying it was made by Frank Capra. Now maybe that's a mistake on purpose. Because when she's on one of her phone things, why do you mean to tell me you never heard of Capra making a film called this? Because he never did. Preston Sturges made Christmas in July. Frank Capra never did. But if you're not paying attention, you may miss that. And you just go, well, what the fuck? Like, why did she keep saying Frank Capra made it? Preston Sturges made it. So if you miss that, it make you think, wow, this character is stupid, or the people who made her stupid. And it's just talking on the phone. I'm going to call this video store and go kick some ass, and trying to have a southern, as she puts it, Texas accent. Or she calls the cops and, I rented this video and it doesn't have the full movie on it. Or she calls about a cigarette. And wanting to order food, and she just goes on and on and on. Think of those SNL skits that you hate, where they take a skit and then just keep going and going and going. Much like the comedy in Ghostbusters 2016. They think that the longer it goes, the funnier it is. But if it wasn't funny in the first place, it just becomes more cringe and eye-rolling and shit. Oh, I will need a cigarette. Yeah, give me some cigarettes. Oh yeah, I'll get give me some food. Oh yeah, give me some eggs and give me some this and give me some that. And at this point, you could tell something is up because she's on the phone talking, but she doesn't leave enough room for the person to answer. So she'll talk, and then she'll talk again. Then she'll answer a question, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's no way that person had enough time to answer when you're on to the next dialogue. As if the person talked. But unless the talk is the Micro Machine Man, I forget his name. Unless they're doing that, no. You're talking to yourself. You never hear the voice on the other end. You never hear a dial tone. You never hear any of that. And again, in this, the way she's responding too fast. So if you're either you're going, wow, this is a really shitty film with bad direction, or it's meant to be that way because she's psychotic. And lo and behold, yes, she's psychotic. There's no one there. She's answering too fast. The other people on the other end would have no time to respond. She'll do a skit with a Japanese accent where... No, actually, no, not yet. Instead, on the phone, oh, delicatessen? Let me see a delicatessen. Then she starts having an Indian accent. You say New Delhi, and I say Old Delhi. Do you perform the Kama Sutra? And I can't do an accent worth a shit. But, like Whoopi Goldberg, I don't know if people really look to her comedy as the master of accents, or trying to play all these different characters. Again, Robin Williams, sure. Whoopi Goldberg, I never really thought of her that way. She didn't really, that's why she didn't do that a whole lot in her movies. You think about it, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Ghost, Sister Act. It's just more of her attitude that helped make her funny, not this. Maybe this is, hey, maybe because I didn't watch her stand up. I don't know how many people really did watch her stand up. And if they did, maybe I would assume it was better than this. Because she'll do these skits and they go nowhere. There's no meaning to them. There's no underlying meaning to most of them. Having an Indian accent and asking someone if they perform the Kama Sutra. Okay, I didn't find it funny. Wasn't hilarious. You just think about the bad accent. And it just goes on to the next thing. And goes on to the next thing. Oh, now she's Japanese accent. And she's a Hausa yep. Na na na. And she keeps these two like salt shakers cleaning them. I know I got 2 bottles of water just in case. She keeps doing this. Na na na. House of Yap. Mr. and Mrs. Yap. Na na na. Don't get dirty without me. That's what they say. House of Yap. Na na na. Explain me what's fucking funny about any of that. What is funny about any of this shit that's going on? She just keeps talking and talking and talking. But if it's not funny and it doesn't really go anywhere most of the time, then what the fuck is the point? Again, she thinks she's Robin Williams trying to have these rapid fire multiple characters, like there's this neighbor that we just hear her voice yelling. And she tries to be like 5 or 6 characters. She tries to be her, then she tries to be this guy, Leroy, then tries to be this other type of lady, and having this fight dialogue, try to be multiple characters. But it drones on and on. And you just hear noise. It becomes just blatant blanket noise. without much rhyme or reason. It becomes irritating, no insight, no humor. You just want the character to shut the fuck up. And then she has an Irish accent calling a priest, and what's the worst confession you ever heard, and what do you have under those clothes? And then I'm like, that was it. I'm like, okay, where's the comedy in that? It's supposed to be funny you have an Irish accent that most would say is shit. I called a priest and said, that'd be like if I did a fucking comedy bit called what the hell, movie theater. I called a movie there, hey, show any dirty flicks lately? Ah, okay. How about in your mind? Dirty flicks in your mind? Play with your mind, play with yourself. People are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I'm just making shit off of my top of my head that's not fucking funny, just like this fucking movie did. Elliott Gould comes by, former agent with this blonde bombshell. They watch a tape of hers. The lady likes it, Elliott Gould doesn't. Eventually, she gets mad at Elliott Gould's behavior, shakes Whoopi Goldberg's hand, says, I like your stuff. Elliott Gould says, I tried to get you jobs in commercial stuff, but it's your attitude that was a problem. And then she pretends to fart on him. Multiple times pretends to fart. Ooh, I'm like, okay. The only somewhat insight you get into her is there's this guy she liked named Larry. And there's a bit that she calls her friend, and there's this voice on the answering machine, and you think that's him? Huh? Maybe he changed his voice? And describing a good time in her life, and you tell that she is depressed and she is lost and she's not there psychologically. But then it'll go back to her on the toilet coming out of her bathroom with her pants down doing a John Wayne impression. Or once again yelling at the neighbor and doing like the same shitty fucking shit. Talking, yelling as multiple characters. Pounding on the walls. The lights go off. She lights candles. John Hurd comes in. John Hurd, again, the dad from Home Alone. Been a lot of other stuff. He tries to put some energy, granted, you say it's a little bit over the top, but he tries to put some energy into it. He's like, listen, I'm here to get your phone. I mean, he's a bit of a dick, like, he keeps shining the light into the owl's eyes. Hey, that tree is a fire hazard, and, yeah, Christmas tree still up, huh? And, oh, you got some illegal wire in here, too. And she goes, you can't take that phone, it's my lifeline. And he goes, what are you talking about? This has been disconnected for 2 months. She's like, I need that phone. He tries to take it. She hits him in the head with the phone. He's like, what are you doing? He gets stabbed. But then he gets stabbed. But then when he's on the ground, he acts like he had a heart attack. And he's like, you killed me over a fucking phone? And then dies. So I don't know if he died from the stab wound, because we didn't see much of a wound, or it looked like he had a damn heart attack too. Then she gets on her chair, couch, or chair. Hello, police. I've been a bad girl. Yes, I'll hold. And looks at the camera, and the movie's over. The stuff I'm describing is why this is one of the top 5 worst films I have ever seen of the 1980s. It is insanely boring. There's not one moment I thought was funny. And Whoopi Goldberg can be funny, again. Sister Act, Jumpin' Jack Flash, even bits in Ghost. Nothing about this was funny. Just accents that, hell, nowadays, doing this shit probably get you canceled. Because it's not fucking funny. Not because you, well, the PC should know. It's not fucking funny. That's why I'm more pissed. It's not funny. The drama is few and far in between. Even then, the only insight is that there was this guy that she liked named Larry, and I'm guessing he left her ass because she's fucking psycho. This was just a long, well, I say long, technically it's like an hour and 20 some minutes, but it feels long. It feels like it goes on forever. And whether you want to call this a comedy, experimental art film, whatever the case, it's an experiment that fucked up, number one. Number two, when you have a comedy that's not funny, then that movie feels very long. And then as a visual medium film is, as a visual medium, I can't even talk. As a visual medium, it's one of the most boring fucking films you would see in the 80s. Because there's nothing to see. Oh, you hear a car pile up? We don't fucking see it. Again, maybe this is something that would work better as a play. Maybe, I don't know. If you have a really good comedian with better jokes that they could go with ad-lib, maybe the script that was written, maybe that was funnier than what Whoopi Goldberg did to it. Just from what I understand, with the edit, it was mostly her ad-libs they put in. If that was the case, then she didn't do a good job. And there's nothing really else to talk about with this film. Holy shit, it's fucking horrible. I just remember when I first saw this film, I was curious about it because I like Whoopi Goldberg. And I'm sitting there going, I can appreciate an experimental film. Searching with John Cho is one of my favorite films in the past 10 years. There have been a few films that are like Skype type of stuff. Unfriended, that horror film. And then they did a sequel, Unfriended Dark Web. But it's John Cho, and it's all from a computer screen, and we see like little pop-ups happen, and that was different. That could be experimental. Hell, you see John Cho, but even then, like that movie with the way it's edited and the way the story is, and even though it's all on a computer, because the way the technology is, people could be at different places, so it doesn't feel so cheap and uninvolving of a story. This film has no story. Bitch went crazy. There's your story. But again, experimental. This was a failure. Again, Robin Williams could have been an interesting movie. But, I mean, I don't know how appealing that would be either. Like I said, if I wanted Robin, I'd just watch one of his old stand-ups. Just watch that. Hell, I mean, if you're a Whoopi Goldberg fan, you might as well just watch one of her comedy stand-ups if you can find them. Her doing jokes, and I would assume would be funnier there than it was in here. Just other than that, like, what else did you get? She might as well just done a stand-up movie, a comedy stand-up film, a concert film, like Richard Pryor did. Bill Cosby, I mean, how do you feel about him now? Back then did. Bill Cosby himself. That was a very popular film. Eddie Murphy Raw, Eddie Murphy Delirious. Should have just done that instead. I don't know why she would not just do a concert film to really show what she could do a comedy. Hopefully better material than this. Then try to do this, but then it's like, oh, I'm an actor. Well, yeah, Ghost, you won an Oscar. That showed you could act. This, it didn't appeal to either. It didn't appeal to drama people. It didn't appeal to the folks who just wanted to laugh. It failed on both accounts. Horrible fucking film. With that said, thanks for watching. I'm tired of talking about the shit. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.